Fallen of Albaz lore means that these decks might be something that you want to keep an eye on out here for future support. Make sure you guys smash the ever-living crap out of that Sword Soul button so you guys don't miss out on more content. When you're touching something as big as the lore that we are seeing out here with Fallen of Albaz and things like that, a big question has been raised, could these themes actually receive support, and what kind of support? How likely is it to get this? So I wanted to touch on Sword Soul to kind of start here. We're in an interesting takeaway period out here with Sword Soul because most of the things in Sword Soul in this current generation have already been reprinted. Konami has done a fantastic job. If you've wanted Sword Soul cards, they have been pushing these into the ground for you constantly. They wanted you to be able to get Sword Soul cards, and you're not going to have to really spend an arm and a leg to get these, which is good. But if Konami was to give Sword Soul something on the level that Sky Striker Area Zero got, how consistent of an upgrade is it going to push this deck? We already saw that the Tenyi stuff was a fantastic upgrade, by the way, which by the time I think we would get something like this impacting this side of the lore, the Tenyi stuff should already be reprinted, so you shouldn't have to worry about any sort of craziness with the Tenyi side of things. I think the Sword Soul package itself is a little bit fragile, but you would have to create something that is able to almost cheat things out, or maybe create a really big extender. Realistically, Konami can break anything at this point, I guess. I guess the message here is Sword Soul would be on the block of things to be getting some of those power-ups, as it is part of the Albaz lore, so you are going to want to make sure that you keep an eye on this stuff. It's also very cheap and very affordable. Tri-Brigade. Now, this one is very interesting to me, because I recently saw Tri-Brigade sticking its head out in the OCG, and it was going, oh hey, we have a Link 1 that we can cheat out. Oh, well, I think they already had like a Link 1 Beast Monster they could technically cheat out, but they were cheating out the Yummy Link 1. I was like, we're playing Tri-Brigade cards in Yummy at this point in time? So that was like the last real place that I saw people looking at Tri-Brigade and going, we can do something with this here. Now, there was also the era of Fire Kings, sure, but the thing was, Tri-Brigade has always been an engine that has felt better as a support package to other decks. And even honestly, even at the time that the deck was super good, Pure Tri-Brigade was there for a little bit, but it did take a little bit of time for the meta to kind of adjust and kind of figure out where we wanted to go with it. So I guess my question is, what can we truly give to Tri-Brigade at this point in time to make the deck feel much stronger or, worth picking up? There's always Link 1 territory. They don't technically have a Link 1. I think it would be really cool to see a little Shurag as like a Link 1. I think that would be a fantastic card to add into the lore. But is it worth it to be picking up Tri-Brigade cards? Some of the stuff can be a little bit expensive. I think Shurag's still a good couple of dollars. Shurag's probably going to be the only inconveniencing piece that you're going to have to deal with. But it, once again, also should be pretty cheap in order to get. Cheaper than Sword Soul. Now this one, the Bystials. This is where this is kind of where we start to cross into the realm of, oh shit, that was part of the lore. So, you guys all functionally remember how crazy the Bystials have been, are, will be in the future. When Konami created these things, they were insane. Konami actually made hand trap monsters to bump Light and Dark Side of the Graveyard. I never thought they would do it. I never thought they would give DD Crow a 2500 attack point body to do this. But it wasn't always about like the Bystials. It was about like Lubellion and like the interactions with like setting up Brand to Regain and that tie-in. The Bystials themselves were just kind of like a sub off spawn out here of what they could power up and kind of interact with. I honestly, when I look at the Bystials and the rest of the Albaz lore out here, I would almost say that Bystials probably aren't going to get anything. Bystials are just kind of left in this kind of shadowy place in the field where they're like, hey, you know, we're here. You know, we can do some things, but I don't think that it really is going to do too much in the long term. I'm sure if they decide to give something to Bystials that could consistently make Lubellion appear on the field, that would be a broken interaction. But you cannot print more Bystials at this point, Konami. We've already had to clean up every other Bystial in the room. All right, those were problem cards. We cannot do this again. It would be too bad for the game. All right. Now, what about Ice Jade? You know, things like that and Thurion, for example. These were the backseaters in the... Well, Ice Jade wasn't really the backseat, but Thurion kind of was. I wanted to put Ice Jade on this list because I still feel like, in the lore, that Ice Jade just got shafted. All right? Like, what was the purpose of Ice Jade? Like... When they were just kind of there getting blown up, like they made like the Ice Jade Cradle, like that was kind of it. And I think they deserve more. The crazy part is one single card out of most of the Ice Jade lore is pretty much the big one. It's kind of like the only one that ever really sees play out here in the Ice Jade department, and it's kind of sad to see because the Ice Jade stuff was fundamentally, the deck looked really cool. It had some pretty interesting interactions. I loved the idea behind it. Like, the little sub-battle that we had with the Sword Soul was cool, but, like, if you want to make Ice Jade function, you're going to have to go make the most create a card to be able to trigger half of those interactions that you were leaving on the table with that deck. And I don't think Konami can do it. I don't think functionally that there's a good design space out here for Ice Jade to do it. Now, should you be picking up the Ice Jade cards, considering that they're part of the lore? You know, same thing with the Thurion stuff out here. I do realistically think Thurion's got a better pickup rate right now, because at least Regulus was a good card. You know, you did have something that kind of stood out on that side of the map. Very strong potential, yeah. I think it was there, but I don't know. Ice Jade's a little bit of a sadder boy out here for the lore. And then Sprite. Now this one's probably a no-brainer to you, because even to this day, even out of the rogue corpses of players' experiences, we still see players trying out Sprite. And it still is there. Now, we did get a Sprite support card at the end of the lore. We did get to see them walking off and kind of doing their thing, and that was, you know, Konami's way of going, bye-bye, Sprite, you know, you're done. But that wasn't a satisfying ending to the power and the legacy that the Sprite monsters had. You mean to tell me that you were going to try to send off a Sprite like this and not really expect players to go, huh? You know, is that truly it? No, I don't think that's it. I don't think that we're done out here. I think that, I truthfully think that Sprite could receive another card, because that makes the most sense. You want the powerful themes to get the support cards. You do not want players to think about this. And I 150% know that Sprite was good enough. We lived it. All right. Deck was, and still will be, one of the stupidest decks for its ability to lock and be able to safely generate a field with the amount of negates that it could set up. All right. So, yes, I think Sprite's worth it. Sprite could very well receive it. So, what do you guys think about the Albaz lore implications? Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.